So hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Miss P Clothing once again. So as you can see, we are going to be making this very beautiful exaggerated sleeve top. So this and many more designs are the things you're going to be seeing on this channel. So if you would love to see more, I would like you to subscribe, give my video a thumbs up, and turn on your post notification bell so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. So let's get to work. So first off, you fold your fabric. I am using 2 yards of this fabric. So you fold your fabric into 4. I am trying to confirm the measurements that I'm going to be working with. So this is the other side of it. If you're trying to split it, it's into 4. It is folded into 4, and that's the layered part that is open. So you try to confirm your measurements. I have 23 inches of the measurements. So confirming it again, I have 23 inches. So you go ahead to cut after you've confirmed your length. So this part right here is my front and my back folded together and placed on each other. So guys, at this point I would like you to subscribe to my channel, give my video a thumbs up, and turn on your notification bell so every time I post a new video you will be notified. The next thing is to take your neck width. I'm using 3 as my neck width. Then the neck depth, I'm also going to be using 3 inches for my depth. So you connect the dots, you link the dots together. If you have any curve, if you have anything that can aid you with your neck measurement, please go ahead to use it. For my shoulder slant, I'm using 2 inches. So I'm going to go right ahead to connect it to the neck like you're seeing. Then I'm going to, for the sleeve, it's an extension. The sleeve is together with the shoulder, so there is no different cutout. I am using 9.5 inch for the width. I am going to be putting an elastic band. So if you can make it bigger than what I am cutting, please go ahead. Be generous with your material, be generous with the fabric when you are cutting. So that's 10 inches there. That's the bust measurements. This is 16 inches. That's my waist measurement. All of these measurements are just to give me an idea of where the bust and the waist is going to be. So I went ahead to to rule a line there just to give me a mark. So on that mark, I'm going to be marking 10-inch allowance for the bust, then added 2-inch allowance because it's not a fitted top. Then on that waistline, I'm going to be taking the waist measurement. The waist of my client is 38, so that's 9.5 right there. Then I'm adding extra 2-inch allowance. Then you come down. I am taking 11 inches for that part. 11 inches. So once you're done, you just try to connect the dots from where you took your bust measurements, and then you link it down from the bust measurement to the waistline down to the hip line. You try to connect all of the dots together. So after linking it, you're still going to curve it further from the hand part to the full length. You're going to curve it like that here. So after curving it, this is what it looks like. So to be able to get our coat shoulder one-sided off shoulder, you have to separate both the back and the front open like this. Split it open. Then from one side of the shoulder, you are going to go out by 2.5 inches. That is for my own. Then the midpoint, you're going to mark it so from the midpoint you are going out by 11 inches because my client wants it to be completely off one of her shoulder. So you link it to the shoulder line. So I will link the 11 with the shoulder. then it will give me direction as to where I am beginning my slant from and where I am taking it to. Like you see my hands giving directions. So that is what you're going to cut. I'm so sorry the chalk isn't doing justice. The chalk isn't visible enough, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to draft out. That is the line right there. So that's the line you are going to cut on, like that. You cut it. Then I'm going to use an interfacing to just turn the neck. I'm going to just use just a piece of lining for both the back and the front. Always remember, right side to right side. So this is the midpoint of our dress. You fold it into two just to get an idea of what it looks like when it's unfold. So on one side, one part of the neck looks like this. Once you flip it to the other side, this is what it looks like on the other side once it's unfold. One part is a little bit elevated, then the other part is down. So if you see something like that, don't panic, because you're doing the right thing. So I've cut out 2 pieces of lining and pinning one to one side of the fabric. Then you're going to sew on that edge. You're going to do the same thing for the second piece. So I'm done sewing it, sewing the first lining to the first piece. So this is what it looks like. Yeah, so you go ahead to do like I am doing on the neckline. Some people would like to top stitch, but sometimes for some fabric, instead of top stitching, I like to open it and then to just use hot press and iron on this side. So sometimes I don't top stitch, I just use press and iron. It does the work for me. It does it very neat for me as well. So after ironing it, you will see that all of this part will become very clean and plain. So for what I just described, this is the result of what I just did. So I had already done one piece, so that's the one I just illustrated. This is a finished product. This is how I did for the other one, for what I just described for you guys. After that, you go ahead to layer. You lay the back and the front. Make sure that the lines align. That's just the midpoints. That's an indication just to give me direction as to where the midpoints of the tops are. So you put the shoulder together, try to adjust, put the shoulder together, and then you flip the other side of the lining to the front parts where you are holding into. We don't want the edges showing after joining them. So you flip it over like so, then you pin it. Pin until you see that the linings are together and the fabrics are together. So in that way, it shows you're on the right track. So you go ahead to pin more. And so you're going to be sewing all the way from the shoulder. So the same thing that you did for the other side of the shoulder, you are still going to do the same thing. You're flipping the lining from the other side onto the side that you are, onto the side of your sewing machine. So you flip it to your side, you go ahead to pin it like we did for the other one. Same process on this shoulder as well. Then you sew all the way down. So once I'm done sewing, this is what it looks like. This is what the second shoulder looks like. And then you flip the lining. You would see what it is inside, where the linings met. This is how neat it looks. So this is it. Can you see that? Then I went ahead and then I ironed the other part of the shoulder that I joined. This is it. Then you can see that the shoulders are slanted already. Then over to the arm part of our top. So you will spread it and then you will fold it this way that I'm doing. Just trying to create a loop to enable you pass your elastic through that loop. Trying to create a channel for your elastic. So I'm trying to hold it down with pins to enable me sew. So you sew on the edge. Once I was done sewing, this is what it looks like. So you flip it over so that you can pass your elastic through what through the channel you just created for it. So I cut out 10 inches of my elastic band. That is what I'm going to be using. So use your pin or whatever you can use to pass your elastic through the loop that you created for it, like you're seeing me doing. Mind you, I am using 1/2 inch elastic. Make sure that there is an excess of elastic outside so that it doesn't slip through. So I am done fixing the elastic, and this is what it looks like. So you're going to repeat the same thing for the other arm. You're going to also pass same length of elastic through that arm. Once you're done, you flip it over to the other side. It's time for closing up. I'm going to flip it over to the wrong side of the fabric. And then this spinning is just a way of saying this is where I am going to sew on. I'm going to cover the sides of our blouse. Yes, I am sewing it by 1 inch allowance. That's what I'm going to be sewing on. I'll do the same thing for the two when I have added the elastic to that arm. Once you add elastic, it's going to shrink it. So after the elastic, and it goes that way, I am going to close it up. So I am done closing it up, guys, and this is what we have. But I'm not done yet. I'm going to weave that down part. I'm going to take it to weaving. I'm going to weave it. Then the next thing to do, after weaving it, I'm going to fold it in by 1 inch. Then I would iron it. I intend to use a helming gum so that I will hand stitch or helm it with my needle and thread hand. Like I'm going to use my hand to helm it in after closing it in with helming gum. So you fold it in by 1 inch, and then I'll iron it just to give me a direction as to where to fix in my helming gum. After that, I would use my needle and thread to hand stitch it. So this is what we have. After that, I would go ahead for the lining piece. I'll go ahead to fold it in, because I'm still going to use my needle and thread to helm it, so that once my client is wearing it, the lining won't be dragging, like it won't be coming out. She won't have any problem with the lining coming out. So here is the result of what we've been able to make. So try it out, guys, and let me know what you think about this.